Our media partners over at Texas Monthly, they are highlighting an Austin area teen who was shipped to El Salvador. Got Michael Hall joining us for today's discussion. Michael, thanks for being with us. Let's start with the deal between the U.S. and El Salvador. Can you talk a little bit about the arrangement made between both countries and the Terrorism Confinement Center, or SECOT? That's the name of the max prison where all of these people are being sent.
Right. President Trump entered an agreement with the El Salvadoran dictator Nayib Bukele to take 238 Venezuelans and some 24 El Salvadorans, deportees, and put them in SECOT, which is this giant prison that he's built out in the middle of nowhere in El Salvador. And I believe that the U.S. government paid him $6 million for that. And it's supposed to be for at least a year, so they could keep them even longer than a year.
Well, we know the president is using the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to make these deportations happen. It's under that authority that he's operating. But as you point out, the president declared the U.S. had been invaded by Terán de Aragua. That's the Venezuelan gang, by the way. How's the Trump administration identifying these alleged members? How do they go about that?
Well, one of the ways they do that is by tattoos, tattoos that are held on the bodies by the Venezuelans, and they also go by clothing. If they think it's that they're wearing gang-related clothing, they have a point system, and if for a particular person the points add up to 8 points, they're considered part of Terán de Aragua, and they're deported. And it's like 4 points for tattoos and 4 points for gang-related clothes. So it's not a very precise system.
Yeah, well, in your article, you talk about 18-year-old Carlos Daniel Terán, who ended up in SECOT recently after agents surrounded his home in the Austin area here in Texas. How did Terán end up coming to the U.S. in the first place?
Well, his father came here 2 years ago, his father and his stepmother, and they came in legally. They came in through the CBP-1 app, which was something that President Biden had set up so that immigrants could register on this app and come in legally at a border crossing and give their fingerprints, dot every I, cross every T, do it legally. And so Daniel's father did that, and so when he was ready to come, his father insisted to him, do it legally. Don't do it illegally. You're going to get in trouble. So Daniel did. He did the CBP-1 app as well, crossed over and came to Texas and started living with his father up in Cedar Park, which is a suburb north of Austin.
Yeah, how was he suspected, Terán? How was he suspected of being a gang member? What's his family planning to do now?
Well, I mean, Daniel made a mistake when he was 16. He was living in Chile with his mother, and he was hanging out with some kids, and they were smoking weed, and one of them had a pistol, and they were arrested. And so he was arrested. He was released, and his mother said, "You got to get out of there." So he left the country. And so when he came to the United States, he did have a record, and that's how he got busted. Eventually, is they found that, well, he had this record back in Chile for marijuana, and somebody in this group had a pistol. And so they used that as evidence that he was part of Terán de Aragua, one of the most violent gangs in the world.
Didn't know that those kinds of records would follow you internationally for smoking weed and having a gun.
Yeah, and it's as his father said, yeah, look, he made a mistake. He shouldn't have done that. But, you know, don't send him to one of the worst prisons in the world because of a 16-year-old mistake.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to give you our thanks, Michael Hall, for today's discussion. We appreciate you chatting with us. And, of course, you can read his full article right now. It's on TexasMonthly.com.